for example, like just take your of your dog. If your dog the street, take it away, because once a month I just step on.
Hi, Sasha.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited.
So good to have you here. How was your day?
I got a tattoo from you, so I'm physically a little bit exhausted. Like,
am I exhausting?
You're not exhausting, but doing a tattoo is, for me, it's exhausting. I'm just tiring. But I'm very excited to be here and to talk. So,
great. What are we talking about today?
I don't know. I think we're going to talk about me. I think this is going to be the topic.
So let's start with this. Yes. Please present yourself.
So I'm Sasha Elia. I'm 30. No, not 30. I'm 31 actually. I don't remember the last time I had to introduce myself with my
birthday as well?
I don't remember. So I'm 31 years old. I'm Italian from Switzerland, but I live here in Berlin. And I work in the management of a kindergarten as a full-time jobber. And on the weekend, I still have my mini job where I work in a club that is only for men. And it's kind of the same as in a kindergarten.
What's the biggest difference between both kind of children?
I think just the age.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
Same.
I think you have to take care about children. You have to take care about some adults there. You know, you have, Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, I think you understood. Yeah.
What do you prefer about that job?
Which one?
The club one. Let's start with the club one.
The club one is a little bit different. I have like different topics, so I have less responsibility. So it's really, really chill. Mm-hmm. I can go there and have fun and don't think about or being in the organization of something. Mm-hmm. So that's the part I like, and that's why I still have that job. Also, even though if I think that sometimes it's really, really challenging, because if I work a full time the whole week, and full time in Germany, like in my business, is 41 hours a week and 54 minutes that I have to work. Yeah, it's Germany. It's
why?
Deutschland. And and then have to work a night shift on Friday. It can be very challenging.
So you jump from the office job to the
but I like
job.
Best case, I do a small nap in between, and waking up from that nap, I don't know in which year I am or what I'm doing right now, but that would be the best option, to have a small nap and go fully energized to
So you get to sleep before going to work again. Like what's the trick, like, to fall asleep so fast?
I don't know, using so much energy or being always I'm so much into I just have so much energy all the time, and that's why I'm also sometimes very exhausted, like today after the tattoo.
You mentioned that you're from Italy, or is it the Italian part of Switzerland?
I'm actually, my parents moved to Switzerland when they were around 5 to 6 years old. Mm-hmm. They moved from the south of Italy, from Bari to Switzerland, to Basel. That's the Swiss-speaking part of Switzerland, like the German-speaking part of Switzerland. And I was born there and raised there. Mm-hmm. And in 2017, I decided to move from Switzerland, from the beautiful Switzerland, and
to Berlin.
Yeah, coming to Berlin. Like looking backward, looking back, it was a choice, but I'm not regretting it. The city offered me so many opportunities. I had a complete character change, I think. Mm-hmm. I changed so much in the city because I was also by myself. I mean, with the supportive system of friends and I live here now, and I'm coming from Switzerland.
Cool. What made you leave the country?
I mean, you're from Switzerland too. So actually, from the French part, no?
Yeah, exactly.
Switzerland is a very beautiful country. It's really one of the most beautiful country when you look from the perspective of the nature. Also, I was there last weekend, so also just to talk about it, I walked on the street and like random stranger people said hi to me on the street. They say hi when they pass you, you know?
I miss that.
Yeah, I really miss that. Here in Germany, you really have to walk like that because everybody is on the street. Like, I don't know, it's a complete different vibe. But I changed because as a gay man, I come from a village where I felt like I was stuck. I learned my profession, and then I studied also, and after that I felt kind of way that I was stuck. I was stuck, and I was seeking change. I was seeking a character development. Let's say that. Yeah, let's say that.
No,
sounds
it's good.
I was seeking for that, so I came to Berlin, and coming to Berlin as first as a raver, I learned the city. I knew what the city is offering and how open the city is. And as I already mentioned, as a gay person, this city offered me more things. So now that I'm living here, these things that were important for me at the beginning are not important anymore. You know, like expressing myself in complete different ways. I think I also changed in that time that I live here. Like I settled down with who I am.
You found yourself.
I found myself, exactly.
Great.
And I was looking for myself. So I think that's why I moved. And yes, also as an Italian, I lived in my parents' house, you know, and having an Italian mom that I really love, like I have a very good bond with them. I could not get older in this house because, you know, having Italian parents that take care of you, and if you have a good relationship to them, you really have to do nothing. And it's like, I don't know, it's really nice.
Do you have any siblings?
I have a brother that is getting married next year.
Congratulations.
Yeah, he's also gay. So that was also something to have two gay sons in the family. At the beginning, I mean, I outed myself in a short. I mean, first of all, he's older than me, and I think I paved the way in our family to tell that gay people exist, gay culture exists. I mean, my family always knew that it exists, but it was not touchable because they didn't have any links to it. And after my outing, I paved the way. So that is.
It's very courageous.
Yeah, like a pioneer in the family. But that's not the main thing that I mean. It's like having a gay brother at the beginning for me was very difficult to accept, not for him for sexuality, but accepting the fact that my family is not going to have a traditional way where we're going to have like grandchildren from my parents, because I always thought I was always in the pressure that this is what my parents want. And for everybody out there having the same struggle, I think what helps the most is to talk about your parents about this topic and tell them what you feel about it, because I did that with my parents, and my parents always told me that they don't have this expectation. They don't expect to be grandparents or having this part of their life, you know. So that was very relieving because I always put myself into pressure, thinking that this is what my parents want, you know, having an Italian background, but it's not. So just talk to people.
Great. I'm so happy you could live this. Great. And we were talking about Switzerland before. How was, like, you have a very encouraging and lovely and supporting family. How was it with the other people there for you?
For other people in my family, or?
Let's talk about the general context, and we can go back to your family, like the rest of the family after that. How was it for you to express yourself and to develop as a young person before moving to Berlin?
I mean, Switzerland or people in Switzerland, there is like, you can compare Switzerland to Germany a lot in these cases. There is a lot of accepting people, and I think it's always important in what kind of settings and in what kind of groups you are, like where you're socialized at. So I always surrounded myself with a lot of accepting people, also very friendly people. But there is also the darker side, and I think there is everywhere. There is so many homophobic and intolerant people as well. So it's also not that everybody thinks that you can walk in Switzerland holding a hand of another man, like as a gay couple, and kissing kissing each other. There will be always people looking at you or saying something even. So, you know, and I think it's always a balance. You have, it's like here, you have people that are always accepting, and then you have just stupid people that really didn't get what life is all about. So, yeah.
Okay. And what about the rest of the family?
Yeah, well, my dad has 6 other siblings, and my mom has 3 other siblings.
Wow.
So I have a lot of uncles and aunts and cousins, a lot of them. And you can really see, I mean, I have family also in the US and in Canada, because at some point family just migrated from Italy to Switzerland and from Switzerland to Canada, or some of them directly from Italy to Canada or to the US. For example, I have a cousin in Florida that I actually also never met. Not met in real life, like since they live there, something I have to do. You can see really the difference where they grew up. I have some family members in Italy that, for example, I had a talk when I was there in November where I was a little bit disappointed and shocked because I had conversation with some cousins that were they voted for the current the politician, like the Meloni politician that they have, the very racist and very sexist. It's like, yeah, it's a lot. So having talks with them, I really understood where this feeling is coming, or because they're not educated. So I have also people in my family that are not really accepting, but it's fine. I just learned that they exist, and I will give them forever. I will give them forever answers when there is something. I will speak up. So, and there is people where I know there is still hope that I can change their minds, and people where I just know it's okay. I have to live with that. I cannot change everyone. So
how do you feel about that?
It made me sad because we sat all on the same table. We ate from the same food. We drank from the same thing, and still I know that there is one part of them that is not accepting me for who I am. And even though if they're like, Sasha, I love you, we like you so much, we're so happy that you're in my family, I still think, yeah, but why did you do that then? Why do you think like that? So, it's always, I don't know. And I think as queer, gay people, it's always having that in your background, because if you know that, yeah, either you have a full support or you don't. So I don't know, it's nothing in between. Have
you seen an evolution in your family since you've talked about it so many times, I guess?
I think there is an evolution with the younger ones of the generation. Older ones are, I don't know, maybe it's sometimes too late to change people. When you lived in a pattern for so many years, it's so difficult to break that. And I don't blame them, because they learned it like that. They didn't have an education like we have. They didn't have internet like we have. They didn't have social medias like we had. So, for example, my aunt still thinks that there is just one, like two gender, like there is just male and female, and there is not a spectrum in between. So, or people that don't identify as non-binary, that doesn't exist for them. It doesn't exist. So you're a biological female or a biological man. So that's something that you can never change for them, and I'm in peace with that. I still know that it's like, I don't know, it's hurtful, but if you cannot change it, you just can't.
I have to smile because I do experience the exact same thing and dynamics with people from where I'm from, and it's interesting to see that still, if the country evolved a lot, like in let's say 10 past years, it's still like very conservative and like non-accepting on certain ways. And this is one of them. It's more about, I don't want to say judging, but the fact they don't understand and they're not necessarily interested in this just like shows that since it's different, they just won't agree with that, and they just won't change their mind. How many times I had this discussion, also like the jokes about it, just like, hey, you just can't say that anymore. Or we're not teenagers anymore. We were teenagers back in the days. Maybe it was fun, but we were stupid. If you still think like that nowadays, you should ask yourself, like, hey, why do I still think like that?
Exactly. And what I appreciate, to go back to my parents, if I tell my parents, like, Dad, Mom, you're not allowed anymore to say that, and explain them why it's not okay to, I don't know, to use certain ways, certain words, or think a certain way. I really have the feeling that my parents, especially my dad, and what I love about him is like he really remembers this, and it stops. Even, I don't know, my parents, for example, wanted to go to Dubai for Christmas this year, and when I was there recently, I talked to them how sad I would be if they go there. Like, because I cannot live my authentic life there, and they could also not. They cannot kiss each other or showing affection to each other on a street. Or my mom has to dress differently, maybe, to go also in a restaurant. Like, we heard about that from the family. So I told them how difficult or how I would feel about that if they would go there, because it would be a little bit a bitter taste, you know, having two gay sons and going to a country where these two gay sons could not
go.
Exactly. I mean, I could still go there, like, don't get me wrong, but I cannot live my authentic self, knowing that it's not acceptable. And also going to a city that is in a desert, like the city, first of all, was not like that. Like, it's, for me, it doesn't make sense. Like, let's say that. And talking to them, they actually said that they're not going anymore. They decided to not go anymore. Wow. And that made me feel heard and seen by my parents, where I know that other people don't have that. So that's really nice. It's really, really nice.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yes, it's so good. I love it.
Great. I'm very happy for you. And how is your life in Berlin?
Well, I moved to Berlin in 2017, all by myself. I had already a support system here. I had a very good friend that moved to Berlin before. Sadly, we don't talk to each other anymore. Like, it just didn't fit when we started to live together. And by meeting her or coming to visit her, I built up a social system. So when I came to Berlin all by myself, I had around 10 people waiting for me at the new apartment, helping me put everything into the apartment. Cool. So I had a very great start. I came also with a little bit of money, so I was jobless for the first months, and coming to Berlin, not having to work, having enough money to sustain yourself.
Sounds fun.
It sounds fun. It was so fun. And at some point I was like, okay, now I need to pay my rent. I need to look for a job. And I found something very fast. And since then I'm working and doing my thing here.
Cool. And how does your life in Berlin differ with the one we've talked about in Switzerland?
The opportunities, I think. In Switzerland, I mean, here you can walk 100, 200 meters. You have, first of all, it starts by having a Späti everywhere, having cultural settings everywhere. You just walk through the street, you see there a live performance, you see there something, there is a museum. The city is bigger, so I think there is much more to discover, to explore.
To offer as well.
I mean, you can... I don't know, if I don't want to see people, I stay home. If I want to see people, I can do that. I can go to restaurants. I can go to a botanical garden. I can go to a museum, cinema, whatever. You can really do whatever you want here. And there is almost no limits. And that's that you have to be honest. This is good. This is nice to live in a city.
I don't know how it was for you in Basel, where I'm from. For those who don't know, I'm from the French part, in Valais, Sion, Sitten in German. The possibilities to go out were literally close to zero. When we go out was mainstream clubs, and there was at least one fight per evening. So that was like the kind of basic standards. Was super boring, to be honest. Then we started to build up a techno scene there, which worked pretty well. And now with many collectives there, they took over. And now the parties can go up to 6 in the morning, which is pretty good when I think that back in the days we had 4, maximal 5. Here 5 is like, oh shit, it's not even the peak time. So, so it's a kind of totally different world that you're like, okay, then you have like more kind of shifts. Okay, when do you work or when do you go out? Yeah, I'm going to go out on Saturday night, take a few hours of a nap, 4 hours, then I come back, and you spend like 36 hours in a club. And
it's a complete different planning. Yeah. I mean, coming from Basel, there is like, I used to hang out with a lot of people that were really trying to make a difference also in the music industry or in the music itself in the city. We also had clubs that were open till 4. We also had clubs that were open till 10 in the morning sometimes. Yeah. And coming to Berlin, having these opportunities, I think for me in the beginning was a struggle to see that I'm not going out every weekend to do everything, to go out a lot, because it can be mega fun, don't get me wrong, but it can also be very consuming for yourself. And especially if you don't have a goal and you just live for that, at some point, I think for me it was always important to have it as a part of my life, but not being the main thing, to going out and having fun outside. So, but I love that Berlin has so much to offer. You can go to a reggaeton, to a pop dance concert or party. You can dance in a club that there is only men or women allowed. Like, you have so much to discover also in the city. I love that about that. And I think that's a very important part of Berlin. And I think that is something that makes Berlin the city that it is today. Like the open clubs, people come here to rave, to maybe have also a part of the drug culture is a very big part. People come here because they can live different. It's less judgmental. You can get everything everywhere. I think you just have to be careful. Because I've seen people disappearing at some point, new people coming, and I see also now how the new generation comes to raves, the generation that didn't had parties for a long time because we had COVID. And now I have the feeling that these people especially, they come to the parties and everything that they miss in these years, I have sometimes the feeling that they are now you know what I mean? Like they missed something, they missed a part of their life. I can completely understand it. I would be mad too if I was 18 and the government just stole me 2 years of my life by sitting at home.
Especially at that age.
Exactly. So you can see like a difference also with clubbing and
you just said that, like people who were 18 in 2020 turned 20 in 2022, and it's like, I don't know how it was for you, but like so much can happen in this time, like in short amount of time, especially in cities like Berlin. When we compare, for example, the youth of Switzerland, the one we have here, like especially right now with all the music, the new drugs that's on the market, like the new clubs also, like the house parties that were going on during the pandemic, and where the people didn't learn how to properly consume drugs, and only between them, and not necessarily getting taught by the older brothers and sisters to show them, hey, just like start with a little piece of that ecstasy, not the full one. Like there is so many differences, and this is something we see these days on the dance floor.
I also I think I have the feeling to compare what it was before. Also what annoys me so much is that people are taking themselves also so seriously when they go clubbing.
Now you say?
Yes. I honestly, you go there because I think I have like the same t-shirt and the same shorts when I go out. Like I have maybe like a few items that I change because I don't give a shit, honestly. It's also not something, it's not judgmental that people really care about it, but I really hate that people take themselves so serious, and sometimes they just kill the vibe with that. It's like it's about fun, having fun, and being yourself or express you in a different way. That I love, that people also have the that they want to express themselves. They are. But going back to what you said with people now having issues with how they consume or how they do party, I feel the same. So that's why I think also by working in nightlife, we see much more people that passed out because the abuse of the drugs, the substance is just, it's different. I have the feeling that after the pandemic, we had much more people that passed out everywhere, not only at work, everywhere, because people didn't give a shit, I think so, or they had to step back for a long time, and now that they restart, they just wanted to go back to where they ended. It's like
Yeah, plus the context is different. Like the music is harder, is faster. Like the dynamic also on the dance floor might be different as well. And if
change it.
Yeah, everything. Plus the people, the mentalities, also like people coming from everywhere. I think there's also like what you've talked about, the whole fact about the people like taking them too seriously. I observed that also on social media, especially with the whole influencing culture, and the people that found that techno is cool now, so you have to kind of dress like that somehow, and then you have young people thinking you have to look like the influencer they follow to be cool and to show that in the clubs as well. What do you think about this?
I mean, I remember back in the days we didn't have that. I had like when I was younger, have this Bravo magazine, this German pop culture magazine. I looked up. Yeah, that was my but that was my influencer. That was I looked up to people on a magazine.
Yeah,
I think it's completely okay, and if you see it from a psychological and a social aspect, it's normal that you look up to your peers. You look up to other people that inspire you. I don't think necessarily it's the best to do that. I also don't like people selling themselves on the internet for something they're not in real life, to make out a job of it. But I mean, it's how it is now. We live in a new age where this is also important and people make money out of it, and I don't blame them for that.
I really like the comparison you've made with magazines and social media. I've never seen that like that before. Like the fact that, of course, like people like our parents or big brothers and sisters, like what they used to look in these magazines, like it doesn't matter if it's like all these gossips magazine or what do you want to say?
The Dr. Summer section where there were always naked people.
We had the specialized magazines for that.
Yeah. The first Playboy.
For example.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, and like that right now, like print is dead and everything's happening online. And for example, so fast. Also, the different fashions that are changing so fast, even faster than everything before. So we also as adults are confronted to some problems. What is problems? Like dynamics we haven't had before.
Exactly, and that comes also with the internet. I mean, now with the internet, you can also have information much faster. Mm-hmm. I remember back in the days, the information that I got were stuff that I heard from my peers, that heard that from other people and from other people and from other people. Like we talk to each other. Now you can, of course, and don't blame me, I love also having a smartphone and checking on my Instagram and seeing what's happening in the world. Like I really like that. And I think for younger people, the younger generation that is growing up with this media, and we didn't have this media, so we see it from a different perspective, mm-hmm. and we don't see it from the perspective that these people just have these things. They grew up with it. We didn't grow up with it, so it's for us easy to judge that and to have a judgmental eye on it, or to see it with different eyes. But to think about it, these people grow up like that. I see it also in the kindergarten, where I see like when I see parents bringing or taking their children and give them already an iPhone, the phone in the hands, to I don't know, to make them to shut up, or to to relax also, so they don't have to deal with the children. I don't know, or they don't know it better. I don't know. Sometimes it's difficult to explain. But yeah, this is the generation that grows up with this, and it's it is like that.
It's going to be very interesting to see in a few years what the results of this behavior is.
It's not good.
With the attention, retention, concentration.
You have to think that a child is looking on a phone screen, and also for the brain development is very difficult, because the child also doesn't have this 3D perspective of something. Like we have a lot of children that lose the ability to think in a room, like to read the room, to read the room how it is, because they are trained, or they play at home with video games, or have always this phone in their hand, so they just learn this ability. And I think that's what people don't know. It's I don't know, it's a blessing, and it's also like something that you shouldn't use that much. Also myself,
we all have a kind of addiction to these.
We all have. I mean, let's be honest.
Of course.
And I think the balance is to also to be clear about that and have a balance in life.
How do you use your phone, social media, and all that stuff?
I use a lot of my phone to do also research for plants and stuff. I follow, for example, a lot of influencers that are plant-based, that do stuff with plants, also not vegan, exactly, or people that show off how they use their garden skills and stuff like that. I use my phone a lot also to do research about things, like on Twitter. I love Twitter. I also love to watch drama. I love when there is drama between stuff and reading what people are telling. And I use it a lot for memes. I love it. I love stupid memes. Are you a meme queen? I'm trying to, but I know that there is better people, so I will leave it to them. I love to get memes and to share them again. I just love watching dumb shit, I love it.
Cool. And what do you do during your spare time? Like when you're not watching memes, like looking at memes, sending them to your friends, your plants, and at the club?
I think that's pretty much everything.
That's already a lot.
That's a lot, yeah. If I don't work, I see friends, and I love to get drunk with them by eating good food.
With your plants at the club?
Huh?
with your plans at the club all
in the
together?
club at the same time? No, at home, having friends home and eat them, have a quality time with friends. I love that. I also like to move myself a lot, to go to the gym, to do something with my body. I love how the body is changing and stuff like that. Yeah, I think there is a lot already. Like, what should I do more? Like, I don't get it.
It's enough. It's enough.
I think it's enough.
7 days in a week. Trying to have two days of weekend.
Yeah, like let me breathe. Yeah.
Okay. Don't get nervous.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
So we've talked about many different aspects of your life, what you do when you're not clubbing, working in a club, all these things, what you do on private side. But what does club culture mean to you?
What does club culture mean for me? Club culture, or the club in general, was always a place where I can escape from everything in my life. Like, I think club culture, or the people I surrounded myself in club culture, kind of defined and shaped who I am today. Like, I found out about my sexuality in clubs, or I could live. Actually, I found it out much earlier, but I could live my authentic self when I was out. Of course, it's another setting going out. You are surrounded by other people. You can go to parties where you, in my opinion, can find amazing people that share your same tastes, your same stories, so you can connect to people. And club culture means, for me, club culture is something that we have to protect at all costs, because it's something very important and fundamental for the younger generation, for the older generation, actually for all the generation that we have. Clubs, clubs always meant for me also kind of home, where I know where my peer group people, where my peer people are, where the people are that I love, the people that I cherish, the people that I respect. So yeah, that's what club culture means for me. And club culture also means for me to expressing yourself, and to listen to music, to have fun and not take life too serious, because this is what bothers me the most. Yeah, but I told you already.
Yeah, we talked about that. How did it evolve over the past few years in your eyes?
I think there is more excess, or like the people are like going crazy. People are different. The way people are going to parties is different, or the reason to go to a party maybe changed also. There is a lot of people going out to certain clubs because they find themselves with this club culture, or the club itself is a very big part of their identity. I think that was not like that when I started to go to clubs. I think it was more about going to a specific club to listen to that specific genre of music, like that's what developed. I think that club culture got a little bit more inclusive and open when I think how the doors looked everywhere, how the staff looked, or were like who was in the staff. Like, let's start there. I think that changed a lot, but I also think that we're still not there where we should be, because there is a small balance that you don't use people as tokens for parties. Like, okay, I want to have my club very inclusive, so I'm gonna have, for a token, I'm gonna have a specific person at the door, like maybe like trans people. There is so many, there is not a lot. There is not enough trans representation at doors or in club culture. That's what I'm missing. Or more queer. Queer representation. I cannot go to a gay party or to a queer party with just having straight cis men at the door. This is not working for me. So I think this is something that changed and still has to change. I think it also changed how people are going to parties. I think, or what they expect in parties. Let's say that. I think this also changed a lot, and also still is in a development, because I think it still has to change a little bit, that people understand going out is to go to a place that has to be safe, a place where you can open up yourself and where you can find yourself, where you can shape yourself, and a place where you can just connect with other human beings. And that's for me the main reason to go out. and obviously to listen to the music.
Of course, yeah, that's what brings us together on the dance floor. What would the ideal club scene look like in 5 or 10 years for you?
The clubs in 5, when I look in the future, what I would wish for the club scene is that it's more inclusive, that we think about, because like we always think about that parties are fun for, like when I go to a party and I'm like, wow, I had such a good rave and a good party, I sometimes forget, but probably there was also probably other people didn't feel the same. Maybe the party was not as good for them as it was for me. So I think the party culture should a little bit be different in a way that it's more inclusive for everyone, so everyone can have fun, that it's safer, that people are more informed about what they're doing, what they're consuming, what consume can lead to, and that we take care about each other a little bit more, that we don't get angry on each other or, I don't know, start drama when people are just trying to live their best life, authentic life, and just having fun. I think that is where we have to change, and that...
What do you mean by that?
I mean, when at certain point, when you are out, you feel that people that also are consuming chemical substance, like let's say it, like drugs, at some point, I think they turn into weird human beings that don't give a fuck anymore about manners, or they don't talk to you in a nice way. They feel entitled because they go to the club every single weekend. They feel like the club belongs to them, and I think that's always a mood killer. And this is the people that I talked about that take them too serious. So I think this has to change a lot, and I also would wish for clubs to not raise the entry so much. I know that is a difficult time right now with everything going on, but I'm a little bit scared that if we raise the prices of the clubs more and more, we start to attract a different audience, an audience that can, of course, afford all the time that, or can always afford every weekend a club ticket that is so expensive. And we forget a little bit of the people that can't, like the people that, like queer people that cannot pay that much every weekend. People that are bringing light into the party, like my kind of people, gay people, queer people, trans people that have to deal with other things in life that are financially consuming. And if they also now have to deal with the club entries that are raising so much, I think we're going to start losing this crowd, and that's something that I'm a little bit scared of. Yeah,
I do understand. Yeah, but I don't think I'm only talking about Berlin right now, not about, for example, what we know in Switzerland. Well, in Berlin we reached the Swiss prices we had when we both were still living there. We still have Berliner salaries though, so this is very bad. But I also think partying, clubbing became a luxury somehow. If you don't have any direct access to some staff, some people that can put you on a guest list or whatever, to go out on a proper night,
it's so expensive.
It's very expensive.
It is. It's, yeah.
So this, just as you perfectly explained, reduces may reduce the diversity of the club, or like of the crowd.
Exactly.
Because like then you will have only like people who are literally not necessarily wealthy, but like that have more money or like to spend and can afford to go to these clubs. And even if the parties are like very much offering like amazing lineups and for over a very long amount of time, this is becoming a luxury, and all the people won't get an access to anymore.
Exactly. And that's what is so sad about it. So the diversity of the party, the thing that we are now working on, that the parties are more diverse and more open and more, that there is everybody there, and this, I think this is going to disappear if it develops like that in the future.
Well, the thing, what I see as well, like to complete what you're just saying, is that me as a hetero cis guy, I came into clubs where I was like mostly, then I understood like the other side. How is it like to be gay in a mostly heterosexual normative society, then coming to gay clubs, like maybe like the way gay clubs at the beginning, now they're more open, let's call it like this, even if I don't like this how it is.
They are straight friendly.
Straight friendly, that's
straight
the perfect, yeah, that's
straight tolerant.
I'm like so not used to speaking to speaking you like that. But that's the thing, like once you understand the other point of view, you have a totally different perspective on that. And right now it's changing back to the heterosexual people coming back and like being majorities.
Don't get me wrong, like
you're right.
You're
right, and this is exactly the problem. We had these amazing parties, sounds old like when you say it like this, back in the days that were better or like might be better. Like I'm talking not about clubs or like saying it was before like better before, but it was different because you had this kind of safe space that were like mostly homosexuals, and that now that since they're straight friendly, you have too many straight people, doesn't matter if they're men or women, that come and like don't spread necessarily the right vibe because they don't have an access to how to behave and what of kind of behavior you have to be careful about once you're there. Like there is some codes, let's talk about them, that you have to respect in order for everyone to have a nice moment, and this is what it's about at the end.
Exactly. I think it's just important to not take too much space as a person that doesn't belong into this social group, to not take too much space. It's like the same with cultural appropriation. You don't it's just important to have a balance, to respect the spaces that are there already, that have been there for many years. Also to know where the music is coming from, where we listen, you know, that is not made from straight people and not made from white people as well. That we don't forget these things, and that we respect these things, and we respect the places that already exist, and that, you know, that everybody has a seat at the table. I think this is what clubbing is about. Clubbing is a thing, or clubbing is something where people just find to each other, where people meet each other, where they socialize, and that is what clubbing means for me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Sasha, thanks for the beautiful words.
Yeah, thank you.
That was